Hello everybody, here, and welcome back to another video. And today I decided we'd do a sequel of sorts. A sequel back to the r/ShortScaryStories video. I really enjoyed filming that one, and I decided to do another. This one I decided to handpick another great list of stories to do. I hope you enjoy them all. I think I'm going to do a little segment after each one, just to give my little opinion on them. See how you guys like that. Doing this one mostly unscripted. Gonna test that out too. Got a new microphone. Hopefully the audio is a lot better than a lot of my older videos. But with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you do, it would help a lot if you left a like down below and a comment, and hey, maybe even subscribe. Without further ado, let's begin. I wake up to silence. No phone notifications. No messages. No happy birthday texts. Weird. Usually my mom's the first to send one, and my friends spam the group chat with dumb gifts. But today, nothing. I check my phone. No service. That's even weirder. I got out of bed expecting to at least hear the usual noises. Cars outside. Birds. My neighbor's awful taste in music, but there's nothing. The air feels thick, like the world is holding its breath. I walk to my front door and try to open it. It doesn't budge. Deadbolted? No. The lock isn't even turning. I tug harder. It's stuck. I move to the windows, pulling at the blinds, only to find them blocked. Not by curtains, by bricks. My stomach tightens. Someone bricked up my windows overnight? But that doesn't make sense. My apartment's on the 3rd floor. I try calling my mom, my best friend, even 911. Nothing. No dial tone. No signal. Just silence. A cold pit forms in my stomach. I rush to my laptop. No Wi-Fi. The router lights are on, but it won't connect, like the outside world doesn't exist. I'm not panicking yet. Not quite, but my hands are shaking as I move to the bathroom. I splash water on my face, breathing deep. This is a dream, a stress nightmare. Maybe I've been working too hard and my brain finally cracked. Then I look up at the mirror. My reflection stares back, but something's off. My face is blurred, like a photo that's never finished loading. My breath catches. I lean closer. The details are fading. My eyes, my nose, my mouth. I scramble back. My heart's racing now. I rush to my bookshelf and pull out an old photo album. I flip through it fast. Family pictures, vacations, Christmas mornings. But I'm not in them. My face is missing. Or worse, it's a blank, featureless shape where I should be. I slam the book shut, my pulse pounding in my ears. This isn't real. It can't be. I run back to my phone and type a message to my mom. Do you remember me? I hit send. It doesn't go through. I try again. Nothing. Then, just as I'm about to throw the damn phone across the room, a reply. One bubble. 3 words. Who is this? My stomach drops. I try to type, but my fingers won't move right. I look down at my hands. My skin is paler than before. My veins barely visible. I run to the mirror again. I'm disappearing. My name, my birthday, my existence. Forgotten. The phone buzzes again. Another message. Goodbye. And then, a blank screen. This one certainly is a chilling one. I picked this one because I think it perfectly encapsulates the fear of being forgotten and the fear of just being kind of isolated and let down by those you love. And that's a scary feeling I think a lot of us can relate to. But I think the next one will do one even worse. I have an urge to kill that always needs to be satisfied, and my technique is flawless. Haven't been caught, not yet. The thrill is invigorating. It really is very simple. I identify a certain part of the country where I want to start. I find a random bystander. I ask them if they can order me an Uber as my phone is dead. They usually say yes. The Uber arrives and I get in the back seat. This is the part where I give them a really far location that is obsolete from any civilization. Most of them actually got nervous and jokingly asked if they were being kidnapped. I always changed my answer to test out what scared the shit out of them more. I had fun with that. When we do arrive, I usually kill them very slowly. I'd bring out my gun and order them to exit the car. I'd then give them a knife and tell them to stab themselves. I'd warn them that if they didn't, I'd torture and kill them. You'd be surprised how many people just surrender and actually do it. Humanity is hilarious. I'd then just dump the body and use their car to get out of that place. When I tell you it's perfect, it really is. I've done this 13 times now and it's never failed me. The police, however, have picked up on this. They call me the Uber Terrorizer. They still have no leads, but they identified a pattern and alerted the public. Made my ritual harder, but the thrill has never been so intoxicating. It was time for me to kill again. I found some innocent-looking kid on the street and asked him to order me an Uber. He was reluctant, but I always knew how to look harmless, and he agreed. When the Uber arrived, I shared my drop-off point with him. It was an alligator swamp. Luckily, this idiot didn't get suspicious at all. When we got close to the location, he missed the exit. "You missed it," I said. "I know," he said as he abruptly stopped the car in the rural part of this town. "What are you doing?" "I'm gonna need you to get out of the car." "No, asshole." I pulled out my gun. He suddenly pushed the seat back into me very hard, causing me to drop my weapon. "My lucky stars, you must be the Uber Terrorizer," he said as he broke into laughter. "Who the fuck are you?" I said as I was being crushed under the seat. "I'll actually be doing this world a kindness for once. I like to call myself the one-way courier." He got out his own gun. Then he turned around and faced me. He shot all his ammo down into the seat. I think I got hit with all the bullets. I could see my own guts. "Terrorizer my ass," I faintly heard as everything went dark. This one is chilling for the fact you never know who you may be getting in a car with when you drive, or get in an Uber, or the fact that when you are out in public, you never know who you may be next to. There is a real stranger danger out in the world these days, and that is a fear unlike any other. When I finally pulled the trigger, the bullet crawled back out, sizzling hot as my brain splattered against the wall. I didn't die. The walls weren't walls, just bodies, piled high, fused, a grotesque ecosystem of failure. They slumped together like a hive, some still moving, wet and gasping, others reduced to crawling torsos dragging themselves through the mass of twitching, rotten flesh. And they were all me. Some were fresh, shivering, gripping their rusted guns in white-knuckled panic. Some ancient, their skins sloughed off in sheets, their gums black and oozing. One hung from sinew ropes, its head twisted completely around. Another had no eyes left, just twin glistening pits that gushed thick yellow rot down its cheeks. "Stop," a dozen voices murmured in overlapping chorus. Some pleaded, some sobbed, some laughed with voices that weren't quite human anymore. One of them slumped against the far wall, reached towards me. His jaw was half gone, revealing teeth stripped to the root. "There's no more room left." I staggered backward, but the floor shifted. Something wet squelched beneath my feet. I looked down and saw it wasn't a floor at all. It was me. My face stared back, fused into the fleshy mass below, eyes darting in panic spasms. I choked, stepping back. "Please," it gurgled, trying to push my foot off its throat. I kicked free, gagging. The oldest one, a husk, its skin stretched paper thin over exposed bone, crooked a finger at me. "You thought this was escape?" It coughed, chunks of something dark spilling from its throat. "Every time you try, you just make another." I stumbled back. "No, this isn't real." Another voice, a bloated, waterlogged corpse, chuckled wetly. "It's real enough." I turned, searching for a door, a window, anything, but there was only flesh, a breathing prison of my failures. I turned, clawing at the walls, only for hands to burst out, grabbing, clawing their fingernails, ripping into my skin. I had to wake up. I had to die again. Then I felt it. My gun, it was still in my hand. My finger was already on the trigger. I raised it to my skull, and they screamed. 100 of me, 1,000, all at once, the noise swelling, a hurricane of pain, a wretched broken symphony of my own voice. They lunged, some dragging themselves across the floor, others crawling over each other like insects, a stampede of mangled copies, their fingers clawing my face, my throat, my gun hand. I fired. The bullet punched through my skull, and then the wet sound of flesh reversing. The gunshot rewound, the metal slug burrowing back out, searing me as my head stitched back together. I collapsed, panting, screaming, still here. Across the room, a new version of me woke up, wailing, and the elder one just laughed, voice like snapping cartilage. I understood now. There was no escape, only more of me, and soon there won't be any room left at all. Early in our relationship, my wife and I had the talk about whether either of us was interested in having children in the future, and to my surprise, we both agreed that it wasn't something either of us wanted to do. Not that we hate kids or that we fault anyone else for having them. My sister and her husband have 2 wonderful little monsters, and we spoil the ever-living crap out of them. But we feel we're much better suited to aunt and uncle roles than we are to being mom and dad. So, to the chagrin of my parents, I got a vasectomy several years ago. Which is not important to this story, other than to say that I'm happier today than I ever have been that we don't have any tiny terrors running around our house, because I think there's something wrong with the children in our neighborhood. It all started 3 days ago on Thursday. With the weather warming up, there'd been kids out playing in the streets, riding bikes, playing basketball, playing tag, screeching and laughing and enjoying life as only those who haven't yet been beaten down by the real world can. But that afternoon, the neighborhood abruptly got much quieter. Consciously, I didn't flag the change until the following day. It was one of those things where my brain knew something was off, but I couldn't pinpoint it until I came home from work that evening to find empty yards and stagnant swing sets. I should note that we're not the only house on the block without children. Actually, our immediate neighbors are a retired couple on one side, and on the other, a single mother to 2 boys who I know are at least over the age of 16 because they both drive. That said, while I find it strange that the children weren't out playing, I didn't consider that there might be something nefarious happening until yesterday morning when I realized I hadn't seen any of their parents either. In fact, it looks like to me none of the cars and driveways where kids below high school age live have moved since yesterday. My wife brushed off my concerns when I brought them to her. I tend to overthink things, and she figured maybe a bunch of people just went on vacation at the same time. But yesterday afternoon, I began to see the kids again. Only they're different. No running, no screeching, no laughing, no joy. They just stand on their porches or in their yards and stare at us when we drive by or go out to get the mail. And I still haven't seen a single one of their parents or older siblings. I'm not one to meddle in my neighbors' affairs, but I'm thinking it's time to call the police to check things out, because this morning, when I stepped outside to grab a package, there was a child in my elderly next-door neighbor's yard, watching me. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I tried to pick out some interesting ones as always, ones that I would like to read, ones that I think you guys would like to listen to. But with that out of the way, I'd just like to keep it short and brief. If you liked the video, please leave a like and comment down below if you'd like to see more. And hey, maybe even subscribe. And without that out of the way, have a wonderful day.